Sunday morning. As the humid Florida air clung to my skin, I was planning to enjoy brunch with my daughter at Paso Grill, as usual. I had already reserved our terrace seats at Paradise Grill. "Rachel, will you have eggs Benedict this morning? Or would you like to try the new Cuban sandwich?" Over the phone, my daughter's voice seemed to tremble. It wasn't her usual bright, cheerful tone. "I'm sorry, Mom. Today. I don't think I can make it. Marcus." Her words trailed off. Something fell in the background. Then hurried footsteps. "Are you all right?" "Yes. Just dropped some dishes." "Another time, Mom." That was the moment my peaceful life began to crumble. "My name is Jennifer Thompson. I'm a 62-year-old retired high school teacher. For 35 years, I taught English at St. Petersburg High School. Teaching was my life's calling. Especially igniting young minds through literature, that was my greatest joy. Mrs. Thompson, your Romeo and Juliet class made me discover the beauty of literature. I've heard such words from graduates countless times. Until I lost my beloved husband Bill to a heart attack 5 years ago. He too taught at the same school. His sudden death as a beloved math teacher left a huge void in my life. But my daughter Rachel's presence helped me through it. "Mom, I'm here for you. We'll get through this together." Those days when my daughter comforted me through the grief of losing her father. That strength must have come from him. Now retired, I enjoy volunteering at First Baptist Church and staying in touch with my former students. Wednesday wine night is my secret pleasure, sharing life stories with friends my age over red wine. Above all, I cherish my time with Rachel, my only daughter. Rachel was making her mark as an exceptional investment advisor at Smith & Johnson Real Estate Investment. Nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30, my proud daughter earned $120,000 a year. She had been brilliant since childhood, always living up to her parents' expectations. In high school, she excelled both academically and in extracurricular activities. I particularly remember her performance in drama club. Her portrayal of Rosalind in As You Like It mesmerized the audience. I can still see it vividly. After studying business in college, she immediately joined her current company. Recognized for her abilities at a young age, she was entrusted with important clients. She was prudent too, with savings exceeding $50,000. "Mom, I'm getting married." 6 months ago, when I heard those words, my heart filled with joy. Her fiancé was Marcus Peterson, a 35-year-old successful investor she met at a business dinner. He was the only son of a wealthy family living in a luxury condominium along Gulf Boulevard. My first impression of him was impeccable. He carried himself well in his Brooks Brothers suit, with refined manners and cultured speech. Above all, as a mother, I could see how he treasured Rachel. "Mrs. Thompson, Rachel is the greatest treasure of my life. I'll do anything I can to keep her smiling." I felt reassured by Marcus's warm smile. His parents were known as local dignitaries of the Peterson family. His father George was a successful real estate developer, and his mother Linda served on the board of the local arts association. They were good people, platinum members of the country club, actively involved in charitable work. The wedding 3 months ago. The lavish ceremony at the Don Caesar's ballroom was perfect on the surface. Rachel in her pure white wedding dress shone like an angel. The couple exchanged vows before 300 guests. But looking back now, there were definitely seeds of concern. "Dear, from now on you'll be a good girl who listens to what we say." Words Linda whispered to Rachel during the reception. "I thought it was just a joke then." The strange looks Marcus's friends gave Rachel, the bride. Glances that seemed to hold both pity and mockery, as if they knew something. And Marcus's attitude, gradually changing as the reception progressed. His gestures, at first gentle as he held his bride's hand, slowly transformed into something possessive, controlling. "Rachel, it's time to go." Marcus pulled my daughter's hand urgently, even though the celebration wasn't over. In that moment, I saw a coldness in his expression I'd never seen before. Perhaps that was the instant his gentlemanly mask slipped. But at the time, I told myself I was reading too much into it. That my own anxiety about adjusting to a new family dynamic was causing unnecessary worry. That they must be tired after the wedding. I didn't yet know how fatal that judgment would be. After the marriage, changes began to appear gradually. "Rachel, how are you lately?" Our weekend brunch plans were cancelled more and more frequently. First, it was work being busy. Then health issues. Then plans with the in-laws. The excuses became increasingly vague. Phone conversations decreased, and her social media updates became sporadic. My daughter, who used to post on Instagram almost daily, suddenly went quiet. "Yes, Mom. I'm just a bit busy." And the silence over the phone was unlike my daughter. "Actually, I'm thinking about quitting my job." Those words set off alarm bells in my heart. "Why? You loved your work." "Marcus, no, everyone in the family says I should spend more time at home." Silence again. Someone's voice in the background. "Sorry, Mom. I'll call you back later." The phone call ended abruptly. After that, I tried contacting my daughter multiple times. Emails, messages, calls. Even when I got responses, they were superficial. Our previously close conversations seemed to have been a dream. Then came that night. The midnight phone call was the beginning of a nightmare. 2 a.m. When I woke to my phone ringing, my heart was already pounding. It was Rachel calling. "Rachel? Mom, help me, being drowned." St. Pete Beach. A trembling voice. The sound of waves. And men's laughter in the background. My spine froze. "Rachel. What's happening?" Marcus and George. Linda too. Broken words. Then a man's angry shout. "Who are you talking to?" The call ended. My hands were shaking. I frantically dialed her in-law's number. After several rings, I heard Linda's voice. "Oh, Jennifer. Why are you calling at this hour?" A calm voice. Men's voices and laughter in the background. Where's Rachel? Oh, her. We're in the middle of a disciplinary lesson. A cold laugh echoed through the phone. What do you mean? Just teaching her the rules of her new family. Don't worry. This is a family matter. I was already grabbing my car keys instinctively, racing to the door while pressing for answers. Linda, what are you doing? Just a family matter. Don't interfere. It's no longer your concern. The line went dead. Speeding down Gulf Boulevard in the middle of the night. Street lights streamed past the car window like ribbons of light. Moonlight silvered the sea surface. Palm trees cast black shadows in the moonlight now and then. My heart was racing. Sweat dampened my hands on the steering wheel. Various scenarios raced through my mind. Was my daughter safe? What was happening? Why the sea? When I slid my car into the St. Pete Beach public beach parking lot, what I saw was an unforgettable scene. Rachel, knee-deep in the sea under moonlight. Her white nightdress swaying in the waves. Marcus, George, and Linda surrounding her. Thin smiles on their faces. Rachel. My scream echoed across the nighttime beach. They froze for a moment. The truth was more cruel than imagined. Everything came to light during the police investigation. Marcus's investments had failed. Behind their seemingly wealthy lifestyle, they were carrying $500,000 in debt. It was all for her sake. Linda insisted during questioning. A manic expression peeked through her perfect makeup. With Rachel's salary and savings, we could have made a comeback. Isn't it natural for family to help each other? But this wasn't family helping each other, it was clearly criminal. The plan had been meticulously crafted. First, break Rachel down psychologically. Criticize her for minor things, destroy her confidence. Exaggerate failures in housework, restrict contact with friends. Check her smartphone history, monitor her movements. Next, make Rachel quit her job. Under the pretense of becoming a good wife and mother, they planned to make her abandon her career. Finally, gain complete control over Rachel. Use her savings as family assets to repay their debts. That was their plan. Last night's incident was part of the discipline. George spoke matter-of-factly to the detective. Since she wouldn't listen, we just wanted to scare her a little. Obviously, we weren't really going to drown her. But Rachel's testimony told a different story. They were serious. Marcus said, "If you speak up, we'll really drown you." My anger peaked at my daughter's trembling words. I took immediate action. First, called the police. Then contacted a counselor at a DV shelter, Sunrise Center, a facility with domestic violence specialists. Photos of the beach incident were already saved on my phone. That terrifying scene under moonlight, preserved as digital evidence. Mrs. Thompson, your quick action saved your daughter. I nodded deeply at Detective John Martinez's words. Piles of evidence sat on his desk. Documents showing the Peterson family's debts. records of Marcus's failed investments. And most shocking, materials suggesting their past crimes. This might be just the tip of the iceberg. Martinez frowned as he reviewed the documents. The Peterson family has a history of similar financial troubles. However, each time, they managed to prevent it from surfacing. This time, he continued, choosing his words carefully. This time, your daughter was their new target. The investigation sent ripples through the community. The First Baptist Church community immediately offered support. Jennifer, we'll do anything we can for you and your daughter. The pastor's words brought warmth to my heart. The domestic violence support organization, Hope's Light, also moved quickly. They provided comprehensive support, from legal aid to psychological counseling. Such cases are not uncommon. Maria Gonzalez, a counselor at Hope's Light, explained gently. Wealthy families, high education, social status. These can sometimes serve as veils hiding abuse. Victims are crushed by social pressure thinking, surely not this family, and cannot speak up. Rachel's workplace also promised full support. She is a valuable asset to our company. Please take leave to recover. Your position will always be waiting. Direct words from the CEO. Evidence continued to mount. Threatening messages found on Marcus's smartphone. Linda's diary detailing discipline plans. Traces of George's financial misconduct. And most decisively, testimony from a local resident who witnessed that night's beach incident. I walk my dog every night. The elderly gentleman spoke clearly on the witness stand. That night, I saw a clearly unusual scene. A young woman being forcibly led into the sea. I immediately called the police. Police intervention shattered the Peterson family's facade. In August's scorching heat, the district courtroom was tense. Defendants, please rise. The judge's voice resonated solemnly through the courtroom. Marcus, George, and Linda stood with their defense counsel. Gone were their elegant demeanor and arrogant expressions. To think, that family. Whispers leaked from the gallery. Country club members, Arts Association associates. Former acquaintances' gazes were cold. George Peterson's business reputation had plummeted, with class action lawsuits from corporate shareholders beginning. Linda was removed from the Arts Association board, and all exhibitions she had planned were cancelled. Prosecution, your closing argument. The prosecutor stood. Her expression was dignified. This case is not merely a family matter. This is planned economic exploitation and serious psychological and physical abuse. Evidence photos were displayed in court. The moonlit beach scene. 3 figures surrounding Rachel. The defendants attempted to completely control the victim's life. Their methods were clever, hidden behind a mask of respectability. However, the evidence is clear. Rachel was called to the courtroom. Witness, please give your testimony. Rachel took a deep breath and slowly approached the witness stand. She no longer appeared a frightened victim. I will no longer remain silent. My daughter's voice rang clear through the courtroom from the witness stand. You attempted control under the guise of love. You tried to reshape my life to suit your convenience. But that is not love. Marcus sat with a hard expression. Occasionally, he glanced anxiously at his defense counsel. George kept his eyes down, while Linda stared into space. Their faces had lost their former arrogance. I have a real family. I have people who support me. And above all, I have the courage to live my own life. Through this experience, I learned what true love is, what family is, and that my life belongs to me. The courtroom was silent. Supporters sat in the gallery. Church community members, company colleagues, and me. The sentence was harsh. Marcus received 7 years for charges of intimidation, assault, and economic abuse. George and Linda each received 5 years as accomplices. Their assets were seized for victim compensation. After the sentencing, reporters waited outside the courthouse. But most important was the verdict in Rachel's heart. Mom, I'm going to face forward and live. I want to turn this experience into something that can help others. In those words, I saw my daughter's true strength. She had already begun walking a new path. 1 year later, on a peaceful Sunday morning, under a parasol at Pasagrille Beach, we once again enjoyed weekend brunch. The sea breeze was pleasant, with dolphin fins visible in the distance. From Paradise Grill's terrace seats, we had a perfect view of the white sand beach and blue ocean. Mom, I've decided on a new project. Rachel shone even brighter than before. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear hadn't changed since childhood. But her eyes now held the strength of someone who had overcome adversity. She had been promoted at work, entrusted with even greater responsibilities. She led a new team, successfully launching innovative projects one after another. It's a real estate project to support DV victims. We're establishing a fund to provide safe housing. Several companies have already pledged support. A strong circle of support had formed around her. The church community, my former students, her company colleagues. And new connections too. Friends met through support groups, fellow survivors. Together, they were building a new support network. I'm nervous about next week's lecture. Rachel now regularly gives talks at victim support organizations. Her experience had become hope for others suffering in similar situations. Her words especially resonated with those suffering behind facades of glamour. Your words will surely reach someone's heart. My daughter smiled gently at my words. That smile had regained its former brightness. Mom, thank you. If you hadn't come that night. Really, thank you. That's what mothers do. The morning sun reflected dazzlingly off the sea surface. We enjoyed our brunch slowly as pleasant wave sounds echoed around us. So, shall we have eggs Benedict today? My daughter nodded with a full smile at my question. Yes. And after, want to try my new yoga class together? The teacher is wonderful. No shadow of past anxiety showed in my daughter's expression. She was now walking her life's path with her own strength. Yes, let's go. The orange juice on the table sparkled in the Florida sun. That light was as bright as our future. The sea breeze felt like it was blessing the beginning of our new life as mother and daughter. In this year, we lost many things, but gained even more precious things. True bonds, courage, and hope. Now, the morning at Pass Grill was announcing the beginning of a new